Hey, today's video is about hyperalgesia, how to avoid hyperalgesia when you're using opioids with intractable pain. So before I even say anything, of course there's going to be people with intractable pain that need certain pain doses. I understand that. I can't. I should have made this video before because I'm actually pretty passionate about it because I went through a lot over 18 years and I learned a lot. With my story, I have abdominal injuries and many different syndromes happened in my abdomen, and it made it difficult for opioids to work. So I learned a lot of stuff in that time. So I believe what I say here is probably mostly true. So I've suffered with intractable pain for 18 years. I have 2 intractable pain disorders and many other branching pain disorders. So I suffer with 4 of the pain suicide diseases. My point right away is that I have the worst possible pain. In 2004, I was put on the infamous OxyContin, which caused many issues, including addiction, albeit for a short while. That drug didn't deliver the 12 hours of promised pain relief. Throughout the years, I went from one opiate to the next in hopes of better pain relief. An abdominal injury complicated my use of opiates, and achieving analgesia became twice as difficult through severe adhesions and scarring. From 2004 until 2018, I withdrew from an opiate 112 times to its completion. So when I did a withdrawal, I did it from the beginning until it finished. So why did I do that? It was in the hopes of resetting my abdomen and pain receptors in my brain. It was hell on earth. No matter what I did, the opioid doses seemingly had to keep rising. When I got to a certain point, they stopped working. You reach a point where it doesn't make a damn difference. The euphoria at the start disappears. I remember methadone. So methadone worked well, but it caused abdominal issues because of my abdominal disorders, unfortunately. Methadone is good. Methadone is also used for people who suffer with hyperalgesic reasons. Unfortunately, my abdominal adhesions didn't let me use them in a proper manner because I didn't understand what was happening to my own body. It took many years for me to understand why things were happening the way they were. Before I got sick in 2015, and like overwhelmingly sick, I was on a whopping 360 milligrams of methadone, which is 1,260 equivalent of morphine. Sounds crazy to be on a dose that size for anything, doesn't it? Do higher doses above, say, 60 milligrams of oxycodone equivalent really do that much more? Do they really? Is it possible to stay on a fixed dose? I believe the answer is yes. Through 18 years of hell, I proved in my case the answer is yes, and from speaking to other people. This is what I learned through those years. Unless you're not able to walk because you're in a wheelchair, this pertains to everyone in a different manner. Even if you're in a wheelchair or bed, it can apply. It's much harder if you're in a bed, yes, I understand. Depending on your pain, I don't think opiates alone are good for pain relief. In my experience, augmenting with something else helps. For neuropathic pain, gabapentin or Lyrica. I don't endorse marijuana, but CBD works good. I'm not saying it, I'm not saying don't use it if your pain's that bad either. It helps accentuate the opioids, so it helps increase the power of the opioid's effectiveness. So you got to add something onto it. A common problem faced with pain opioid sufferers is that you can't take an opioid and have all this pain and stay in one spot, right? Go for walks every day if you can walk. You're looking to accentuate through your natural endorphins. An exercise routine, I think, is completely necessary for everyone, including being in a bed. And I mean all the time. Discipline is necessary to move forward and stay well. I've worked out every day for 4 years plus. Can't expect to wake up and take an opiate, stay still, and hope your pain gets better. So I was couch bound, bed bound, together for over 10 years. 10 years. A sedentary lifestyle will cause you to want more opiates. Develop a plan and stick to it, rain or shine. By the way, if this cuts out, it'll be a thunderstorm outside. If you happen to be on other medication like benzos, taken responsibly, they do accentuate the opiates. I'm well aware that some people need a higher dose, but ask yourself, if the dose that you're on now, if you're on a high dose, or whatever dose, but especially high, if you went back to zero right now, if you withdrew, would you still need that massive dose? That's how I discovered this. I kept resetting my brain from coming off habitually. I've spoken to other people about this topic. Acceptance is the first step. Accept that the dose you're on now is good enough. Of course, find what dose works for you first, then accept it. Secondly, you have to apply all those things I said. Eating well is a must. Sleeping schedules are a must. Also, if you don't have good sleep, if you have 3-4 hours of sleep and you wake up and you take your opiate, it's not going to work as well as if you had a much better sleep and then you took your opiate. So sleeping schedules, if your pain is bad enough, are a must. They're a must for everyone. Also, finding relaxing things to do. If you don't like discipline, with a suicide-like pain disease, how are you going to function properly? So here are the keys. Find your proper dose, accept that you're going to stay on it, and find those other things that can raise the opiate's action through accentuation. Long-acting opiates are favored over short for severe pain in my option. If you just use, and I went through this, believe me, just by using the short-acting opiates, they were wearing off and I was getting burned out. So they'd wear off and I just want that next dose. So it'll only lead to it'll lead to a burnout, it'll lead to an adrenal burnout if your pain is bad enough. I do wake up all night long, but I still apply these measures daily. The biggest point I'm making is this: if you don't stay active and healthy, it doesn't work well. It just won't work. If you're laying on a couch or bed and you don't move around, this may be your answer to why you need ever-increasing doses that result in hyperalgesia. So, when you get up, so the way I used to do it, sorry, just checking my time here. I used to wake up, I have adhesive arachnoiditis, and something like CRPS, but it's my whole body. I'd wake up, right away it'd be very hard to move. It's hard to move with adhesive rackets. It's hard to move with both of them, but I'd wake up and I'd take my opiate and I'd sit on a couch and I'd watch TV literally all day, just one opiate, and then like 4 hours later another one, or like at the beginning taking that OxyContin that only really lasted for 8 and not 12 hours. That's why I started abusing it. But that's what I think, and I certainly know it may not be true of some people. I know some people who have really severe pain, like top level pain, that are on super, super high doses. And it makes me question, does that really work? If you were to withdraw from that for 3 months and then come back, say you're on 300 milligrams of oxycodone long acting, and you came back and you totally reset your brain, which would probably take more like 6 months. You come back, I think you could get away with 1/3 of that dose if you took these measures that I say. Have a good day. Hey, Jackknife. Hope your shoulder's doing well, man.